Now, the Cardinals upset the Cowboys 28-16. Cowboys on the road, obviously Arizona at home. And look, Arizona was an 11-point home underdog entering this week 3 winless following a collapse against the New York Giants in which they blew a 21-point second half lead to lose 31-28 to the Giants. We all remember how we were like, whoa, what's happening with the Giants? Why are they playing like this against the Cardinals? Cardinals kind of sneaky competitive. Giants maybe not as good as we thought. Dallas entered. Y'all listen to this. Is how much Dallas should not have lost this football game. Besides it just being the Cardinals, Dallas entered Week 3 leading the NFL in points scored at 70, points allowed at 10, point differential at plus 60, no giveaways. They had not turned the ball over all year. 7 takeaways. They lead the NFL in all this. Turnover margin, plus 7. Total yards per game allowed at 193. Yards per play at 3.5. Red zone touchdown percentage allowed, 0%. No one had scored a touchdown on them in the red zone. 10 sacks, tied with the Washington Commanders for the league lead. 63.6% QB pressure rate and a passer rating of 34 allowed. The loss is the Cowboys' largest upset since falling 39-31 to the Lions as 13-point favorites in Week 17 of the 06 season. So this was a legendary loss for the Cowboys, right? They were not supposed to lose this game, being the most dominant team in most of the categories, not allowing touchdowns, holding total yards per game. And Joshua Dobbs and James Conner and Hollywood Brown and Jonathan Gannon get their first win collectively as a group. And let's just call it what it is, right? Can we now see that this Dallas Cowboys offense is not all that? They are 1 for 5 this year in the red zone. They were 1 for 5 in the red zone in this game. You had the game-ending interception, turnover on downs, 2 field goals, and a screen pass touchdown when you look at how their drives played out in the red zone against the Cardinals. And here's been the excuses for the Cowboys, right? Oh, it was pouring against the Giants. It was absolutely raining. They still blew them out 40-0. The Jets defense was elite. Well, you still won 30-10. So what's the excuse now? Because we saw over the first couple of weeks, if the Cowboys could not score on defense, pick six, scoop and score, special teams great play, or just be elite. And Micah Parsons playing at a crazy high level. Let's not forget that they just lost Trevon Diggs. If the defense couldn't be elite every game, we were kind of sitting here asking the question, and some people were getting pissed when I was like, hey, the Cowboys offense is being covered up by their defense. This showed it right here. We said that the Cowboys might not win if the defense didn't come through. They are now 6 for 15 in terms of converting red zone drives into touchdowns after 3 weeks. They were 2 for 6 last week. They were 1 for 5 this week. Obviously, they were 3 for 4 against the New York Giants when they blew them out 40-0 on the Monday Night Football game. But the Cowboys offense, it got exposed in this game. Their defense, it bent. Yes, it broke. And of course, you can run in and say that was the Trevon Diggs absence, right? Maybe so. But you got beat pretty fair and square, pretty outplayed, pretty outcoached. And you only scored, again, on a screen pass touchdown and 2 field goals. You are 6 for 15 on the year in converting red zone drives into touchdown. Dallas even shut out Arizona in the entire third quarter. Great halftime adjustments, right? They got 2 field goals off that. Now, I will give some credit to Dak Prescott. He had a nice third down scramble. I thought it was real gutsy, real beautiful to be able to do that. Had some nice throws to CeeDee Lamb, of course, Michael Gallup on the sideline. And with the 2 interceptions from Dak, I really thought that Tony Pollard was open to the right on that 3rd and 4th with about 3 minutes to go in the game. He had been making plays, being elusive, just big, not big chunk yardage, but he was making plays for the Cowboys in this game. To me, you just throw it to him in space and let him make a play. Same with the game-ending interception. Like, you trust Tony Pollard in space, literally, play flipped, throw it to your left, and you let him make a play, not throw it into triple coverage for a game-ending interception. He even had Micah Parsons sounding off in this game, talking about, come on, run at us after they beat the Jets, which I don't think that's really a great thing to brag about, but so be it. Okay, Aaron Rodgers-less Jets. Like, do we really trust this team with Zach Wilson? But yeah, Micah Parsons, go ahead and call for it. Tell these people to come at you, right? Told teams to literally run at him, run at the Cowboys. Jonathan Gannon said, okay, that's fine. I'll run for 222 rushing yards. You guys can give up 99 yards on 2 big carries from us. You can give up 2 touchdowns on the road. 2 touchdowns on the ground. The 180 rushing yards in the first half the Cowboys allowed were the most allowed by any team in the first half this season, obviously before I think the Broncos took off before the Broncos allowed it to the Dolphins, who just dropped 70 this past weekend. But, I really think after the Broncos awful outing, and then the Cowboys The most the Cowboys have allowed in a first half since at least 1991, talking about the rush yards there. Dallas's first half run defense was the worst since the Lions' 240 rushing yards to the Panthers in the first half of a 37-23 loss in week 16 last season. Again, I think the Broncos did supersede that by getting 70 dropped on them. The Cowboys' 222 rushing yards allowed in total was their second most surrendered in a game under Dan Quinn, who came over to Dallas in 2021. But Dak was sacked twice in this game, pressured on damn near 30% of his dropbacks, 29% to be exact. And they were missing 3 starting offensive linemen in this game. So I guess you do have to give some of that slack to the Cowboys, right? They were like, talking a lot of mess coming in, a lot of big dominance, but hey, you're down a star corner and you are also down 3 linemen for you in this football game. But again, you go 1 for 5 in the red zone with 2 field goals, turnover on downs, that interception, 13 penalties in this game for 107 yards is not how you win in the NFL. It is very hard to win in this league. And again, you could feel Trevon Diggs' absence in this game. The Cowboys 100% needed him. Their run defense got absolutely gashed. Rondale Moore had a big play. Josh Dobbs kind of took the tone early, right? Going with the RPO, kind of putting the Cowboys back on their heels. It feels like they were kind of catching up constantly after that happened. James Conner had some nice plays. And then you even have Josh Dobbs with a nice throw to Hollywood Brown on the sideline. I mean, the low throw to Hollywood also in the end zone for the touchdown to seal the game. And you got Josh Dobbs over here being like, y'all remember me and Alvin Kamara from Tennessee? Y'all remember when we went out and beat Georgia? Y'all remember when we had people cheering for us like crazy in the gray and orange when we brought out those uniforms? Yeah, Alvin Kamara's big time at Tennessee after he left Alabama. Josh Dobbs really helped him in that spotlight. Josh Dobbs was his quarterback. Josh Dobbs also had a big throw to Michael Wilson in the game as well. Got to give a shout out to Matt Prater. Always have to give a shout out to the special teams guys out there for the 62-yarder in this game. Arizona, credit to them too. They dropped 28 points. They score on 6 of their 8 actual drives in this football game. And yeah, the Cowboys defense just straight up, they kind of folded in this one a little bit. And we had been saying, hey, if that defense can't perform, what is that offense going to do? Because again, I just told you they're 15 on the year, 6 for 15 on the year. Fell in points scored, points allowed. You've never turned the ball over. You're leading the league in takeaways, in the turnover margin, yards per play, yards per game. You've not allowed a touchdown in the red zone. That shows you that the NFL is literally an any given Sunday league. Cowboys fans, get in the chat if you're still here with me. I don't mean to upset you so much as you don't lose to the worst team in the NFL. I think that's the Bears, realistically. I think the Bears are solely in possession of the worst team in the NFL status right now. But Cardinals have been a little sneaky competitive, and I think they're going to get on a lot of people's radars after this game against the Cowboys.